Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're back with the Fire Jackel. Now I was really excited when I pulled him because he's got awesome mechanics with his surge skill with the revive. Everyone comes back as skeletons with no cooldown on their skills. It's really cool, but I couldn't find that use for him that I really needed. And with the raids, he's really found that that position that he can fill. Now even if they do nerf enemy max HP scaling in the raid, I feel like it's still something that should be high because it's that's what it's there for. If the enemy has high HP, you're doing more damage. If it's a little bit high now, they'll tune it down, but I'm hoping it still stays relevant, so that's why I'm hoping he will still stay relevant. And he's got some other things that are really good about him too that help in the raid as well. And that's pretty much, well, his first skill, I got the bad one, which is the disabling. But if you get the evolution skill that extends the duration of harmful effects, that's just makes it so much easier. Obviously not usable on wave 1 of the raid because you need AoE, but 2, 3, and 4, this guy is my bread and butter for everything I do there. So if you had extend debuffs, it means your debuffs will never fall off, and it's just incredibly handy. But his third skill is awesome. So if someone dies, it's going to revive them as a zombie, and the second skill on those zombies is attack someone, increase damage based on their max HP. However, I don't know if it's bugged, the scaling's not working right, or whether it is just a really low scale. Those zombies do absolutely no damage. My first thought was well, actually, my first thought was not even to use him. I completely forgot he did damage based on max HP. I think it was Max told me about it to do that. And I just completely forgot, and I was so glad he told me because this guy's just made raids so much easier for me. But then someone said, why don't you test out using like your nukers with high crit damage and stuff, and then let them die so that they can come back and do that max HP damage. Unfortunately, like I said, the damage just isn't there on the skeletons. I don't know what their multiplier is or anything like that, but it does very much wet noodle damage. Whereas this guy, he can crit for 150k plus, and he's only 4-star. And as you'll see, he's got no attack investment really. So the great thing for everyone is that this guy's multiplier on his second skill is it's 1 times his attack plus 0.15 times the enemy's max HP. The Earth Djinn is 0.14, so she's only just lower, a little bit lower on the base stats too. But if we have a quick look at the Earth Djinn, her second skill is on a 3-turn cooldown, which means it's up more often if you don't have those cooldown reducers. So she is a fantastic option for this sort of thing. Like I said, this isn't like a raid guide as such, but just if you're looking for that option, Earth Djinn is very solid at the moment. We'll go back to this guy, and what I was saying about his third skill, it's so helpful because if you don't have a speed buffer in your team, it gives you that speed buff. Speed's very handy getting turn advantage on the raid boss, so that is awesome. And you get the defense buff, so it's more mitigation for your team as well. It means you survive. And the other really cool thing is someone does die, obviously not to the 1-shot 1-kill, because they're blocked revive for that, but to a boss's normal attack or from one of the minions' attacks. If they die, you can revive them with this skill. They come back as a skeleton, but you can flee with that skeleton and the monster will be available for your next run as well. So that is a very awesome feature about him, and that's why he's absolutely awesome. Obviously, if we get the ability to change evolution skills soon, hopefully, please Ubisoft, I'll definitely be changing it, and that'll make him even better for this. But yeah, we'll jump into the raid, and I'll just show you the sort of teams that I've been using him with. So in our raid, we're up to wave 2 here, so I'll just do a safe battle for it. But my basic team is, it's a pretty solid team. So I've got the Zealot, I've got the Kappa for the damage. So you want that hunt debuff and the armor break. He's awesome. Also, the Kappa brings that speed slow. So I'll show you my rotation when I go into it. Obviously him for the damage, and then I bring my 2 cooldown reducers. If you don't have the Zealot, you can put something like the Fire Nymph in there. If you're only using the Fire Nymph, it actually might be better with the Djinn, just because you got the lower cooldown on the second skill. But this guy is awesome. So this team works pretty well. So I'll take it into a safe battle and show you how I've been using him. and he really is just fantastic. After this one, I'll do a quick test run with my Fire Dragon. Whoops, we're on auto. What's going on there? Okay, so here we go. We'll put it on 2. We can just look at the damage meter on the side. It's at 0. He's got the attack buff. We've got the hunt debuff and the defense break, and let's go for it. So there you go. That was almost 155k damage with that skill there. So you can see how the damage really ramps up when you start going through it. So I just realized I brought the Diva instead of instead of the Crusader, but you can see that that's the damage I'm talking about. Oh, here we go. Perfect opportunity. So now we can do this. I'll slow the boss so he slows down a bit. Good thing this is a safe run. Okay, I'm going to use his third skill, and we'll get the defense buffs, all that sort of thing. And it's revived. The Diva's revived as a skeleton. We'll test that damage from that skeleton. Another thing to consider if you are using this guy, if you're lucky enough to have him, he's the one that you want to keep topped off with your heal, because he can bring everyone else back to life. Even if you lose your good monsters with their good effects, you can just bring them back to life, flee, reset, and go again. So we'll go here again. We'll reset. I'll put the armor break and hunt debuff on. Okay, so now this second skill of these skeletons attacks an enemy, increased attack based on enemy HP, 60% chance to armor break. So armor break's handy, but it's the damage we're looking at. So we're at 161,000 at the moment. We'll use this, and that was a non-crit for 899. Obviously, there's no crit damage investment, but once again, I'll quickly go through this. There you go. That was only 70. I don't think we had the buff up there. But yeah, I'll quickly go through and show you that the flee button is actually still an option on these guys. Where is it? Obviously, I can't show you properly because see that I can still use that flee button and flee resisted, but you can actually flee with the skeletons, and then the next run that Diva that I mistakenly put in would be available. So we'll exit out and I'll just show you. So the big thing with these enemy HP scaling units is they don't need attack to do damage. So this guy, as you'll see, I've got him on speed, crit rate, crit damage, HP and defense. So you want them fast and tanky, and then the big thing to get their damage up is the crit damage. So you can see I've got really high crit damage at 267, 85 crit rate, so that's solid. Do not worry about attack. You can see the numbers mine's pulling without attack investment. You don't really need it. So that is the big thing to remember. Just always remember that the attack isn't important. Obviously, the fact that you can build them tanky and still do good damage is awesome. So get them tanky so they can survive the boss, and then just rely on that crit damage. So you're normally going to be putting 2 speed, then 2 crit on the middle, and then your tank stats in the bottom. Like I said, with that Earth Djinn, she's only about 100 base HP and defense below this guy, which isn't too bad. And you can see he's got decent defense and HP. The HP and defense clips aren't maxed yet either, so it's still very doable with that Djinn. And another thing to consider is this guy's doing 150k plus damage. If you have something that brings offensive elemental buff, you're going to get even more damage out of that. But the next thing I just wanted to quickly look at was, you can see my dragon, he's got 312 crit damage. So he's got good crit rate. So what we'll do is we'll go to another test run, and let's go battle. So we'll bring the dragon, we'll just bring the zealot, we'll bring the kappa, we'll bring him, and we'll bring the water sister. Okay, so now what we're going to do this turn is we're going to safe battle it. We'll just run through. Hopefully the dragon dies, and then we'll res him, and I'll just show you the damage. So it's a little bit disappointing that it doesn't do more, but it probably would be crazy if the skeletons did do that much damage. But okay, here we are. Dragon finally died. That was way harder to do than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so dragon's dead. We'll do the buff. We'll revive. Hopefully the sister can give us the speed buff to get a turn without anything else dying. Okay, good. Now we'll buff attack. We'll do the defense break. Here we go. Okay, I'll just I'll smack him with that one anyway. The 155k damage, real solid damage. Okay, now this one we've got it. So the dragon has way higher attack than my Jackal, pretty much higher crit damage. So this should be doing a lot of damage if it has a good scale. But when we see it, so we're on 163,000 damage now. We'll do it, and it did 15k. So it's not good damage at all compared to what other HP scaling is doing. So like I said, I'm not sure what the skeleton's multipliers are and all that sort of stuff. So unfortunately it doesn't work that way, the way I hoped it to, but still the Anubis is awesome for the speed buff, the defense buff, the revive to flee with units, and all that sort of thing. But at the moment, that's where he's used. I know a lot of people have asked me, a lot of people that have pulled him have asked me where to use him. And that is his main use that I have found at the moment, and he's really good at it. I've had some really high damage numbers, or high for me anyway, in the raid. I managed to go through all of wave, I finished wave 2, do all of wave 3 and a bit of wave 4 by myself in two runs with him. Unfortunately, he died on that second run. He just kept getting resisted for the flea, but I'll put some screenshots up if I took them, just to show you the sort of damage I was doing with that team. But that's the Fire Anubis. That's the basic gist of the raids at the moment as they stand. The HP scaling damage is really strong. Like I said, if you don't have him, have a crack with that Earth Djinn. The great thing about it is you only have to 4-star them, because you can give them some tanky stats. All you need is that crit damage, a little bit of speed, and then rest tank stats, and they can work at 4-star. So it's not a big wasted investment if you do build that Djinn just to 4-star. But thanks for watching another video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.